Guys, what is up? Oh my god. Got a very cool episode today. One of the coolest bands I've ever seen live. They just have so much energy and just so much of that thing, you know. You know when you see a band and you're just like blown away by their performance or how the songs sound. First time ever hearing them, it blew my mind. So I was stoked. I got to talk to the singer and guitarist of Bad Planning. So before we get into that, I think I have shows coming up. You know, go to my website, IamRyanCurtis.com, and check it out. You know, buy a ticket. Definitely have one coming up on March 22nd. So come out to that. That would be in Medford. And guys, it's that time. Let's get into it.
Get into it, press play, don't quit. Feel the vibe, talk and listen live. Get into it, hit subscribe, don't sit. Join the crew, every week something new. Nostalgia.
All right, and we're back. Today we have an awesome guest. He is a dad, emergency medical responder, and punk rock guy. Everyone, give it up for Alex Crook. Woo! Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks,
I don't know why I
man.
say it like that. Yeah, no problem. So you're in the band Bad Planning.
Yeah.
I saw you guys at Broken Goblet Brewing. I don't know, probably last year, and you guys put on one of the best shows like I've ever.
Well,
The energy was fucking awesome.
thank you,
Um,
man.
yeah, and like I remember I got your vinyl and I listened to you guys the whole way home, and just diving into you guys, like I saw your first song was in 2017 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So like our first real release, I think that might have been 2019. It was the split
Oh
with semester of the split with semester abroad.
yeah,
Kind of a tongue twister, but yeah, that was it was Be Brave and Actors. I think were our two songs on that split.
yeah.
2019. Yeah.
I think there was but there was like a single I think beforehand. You guys had two singles, Lifer, I believe in
Oh yeah,
2018.
yeah.
And then
Yep.
there was another one in 2017. Where what is the beginning of Bad Planning?
So yeah, I mean the first I guess kind of incarnation of Bad Planning is like 2014, when I was like 14 years old, and I mean we were like
Oh wow.
little kids. I was the baby of the band. I still am, and I always have been. But yeah, I was 14 years old, and the guitarist Jack and I went to go jam with our at the time the only our friend Cooper, who was kind of the only guy who like played the genre or like really liked heavy music and played drums. And we went into like his attic space and just started writing songs, and they were kind of crappy. Like they were stuff that a 14-year-old would probably write, and they're lost to time in the archives of somewhere on my phone or my computer. But they weren't that great. But it was definitely the start of what obviously became our band. And at the time, we just really wanted to sound like this, like Blink and Old Green Day and MXPX and like kind of that sort of stuff. No effects, just kind of like basic stuff that a 14-year-old likes. But yeah, obviously that ended up growing into what we have today. So since 2014, we've been kind of going steady. We definitely played some cool shows, like small local shows, but to us that was like the coolest thing you could possibly do up to that point. So, but there really wasn't any real music that I feel like was releasable or like listenable until
Sure.
much later.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, the your full length A Forte. I guess that's how you
Yeah,
pronounce it.
at Fortes.
Yeah, at Fortes. You guys blend like because there definitely is that like I don't know that like Blink 182 feel to it, right? That like pop punk feel. But then you guys come in with like these kind of thrashy parts, like
Yeah,
on songs like Selfish, stuff like
yeah,
that.
man.
Like, and you guys just the energy you guys have is just it's insane. And I love I really do like this album. I cannot praise it enough.
Well,
Um
thank you.
of course. Last year you put out an EP, I guess a two-song EP, Sad Truth. Um, what how did that come about?
So that was just kind of like a couple singles that we wanted to put out, and those will be on what will be released in 2025, which will be here's the news, everybody. Just for the sake of putting it out there, I suppose we're going to be putting out an EP um, probably summertime ish this year, like a longer release, and both those songs will be on it. But basically, those were just a couple singles we wanted to put out because we were trying to showcase kind of an expansion on like what you kind of mentioned, like a heavier side to our band, which we always kind of had. We always loved bands like American Nightmare and Comeback Kid, stuff like that, and we just kind of wanted to have a couple singles that personify those a little bit better. And there's definitely going to be an expansion on that sound and kind of that idea come probably like I said, summer-ish when we put this EP out. So we're really excited about it. And yeah, those songs are just kind of an expansion of like the thrashy, hardcore stuff you're talking about with like Selfish, because we love bands like Blink and The Story So Far and Set Your Goals in equal amounts to our love for stuff like American Nightmare and Comeback Kid and stuff like, heavier stuff too. So
Yeah, no, I cannot wait for that.
thanks, man.
Now, yeah, of course. Um, on at Fortes, you worked with Jumpstart Records on that.
Yeah.
At least I guess for the vinyl portion. I don't know if there was more to that, but what was it like working with them? Because they've been a staple in my area for so
Yeah.
long, and they've put out just amazing bands. They have just like they know when a band is good and they go after it. And yeah, I'm curious about that experience of working with them.
Of course. So my introduction to Jumpstart Records was the band Crucial Dudes, who I'm sure you're familiar with. I love They're one of my favorite bands, and so are there's other bands on Jumpstart that I've just loved for years, like You Vandal, and obviously it's the historical label for bands like a Wilhelm Scream, um, Broadcaster, like tons of just awesome bands, and obviously they've been putting out friends of ours like Wes Hoffman and Title Holder, and they've just been steady releasing awesome releases. So basically, when it came about, it might have been 2021 ish after the pandemic, just a stream of politely harassing Jeremy, who's shout out to Jeremy Myers from Jumpstart Records. He's kind of the solo man behind the whole operation. He's just been steady killing it. Just a stream of steady emails and updates on what became at Forte. So updates on the songs and like the actual recording files, and just kind of our plan for how we wanted to release it. And we wanted to do Jumpstart because again, it has such a great history of putting out awesome records. It's the historical label of Wilhelm Scream. 61 Pen by Crucial Dudes is probably one of the most influential albums for me personally, period. I'm actually from New Jersey, so having a
Oh, nice.
New Jersey, Pennsylvania based label was like kind of awesome. And it kind of tied me back to where I grew up. And I just, I really, really love that about the label too. And total side note, I mean, Jeremy's just like fucking awesome. He's great to work with, and he's been way supportive of our band like the whole way. We had a lot of cool opportunities for touring and like cool festivals we got to play, like the Fest. We got to go to Japan, and we got to go to Canada, and we've toured back and forth the East Coast of the United States more times than I can count. And it's really just because of Jeremy. Like, it's not that he necessarily put those opportunities together for us, but I know damn well that we wouldn't have had a lot of that cool stuff happen had it not been for being able to attach our name to such a cool and rare and legendary label like Jumpstart. So yeah, we love working with them.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think 61 Pen. I remember listening to that in like high school and being just
Man,
blown away by
so
track after
good.
track, banger after banger. And then I guess they broke up at some point, and I guess they did because I'm in Jersey.
Oh,
So
nice.
like, yeah, so they did a show at I think First Unitarian, and I just remember it being a madhouse in there. Like, it was
Yeah.
packed.
and Jumpstart was there selling all the old records, or there all these records, and yeah, just finding gems in just like a milk carton,
Yeah.
of
I had a
vinyl.
few buddies that were at that first Unitarian show, like kind of like their farewell, whatever. And I guess
Hmm.
that was like 2017 ish, probably 2016.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like to me, 61. Okay. So for me, what Crucial Dudes is musically, just to nerd about them just for a moment here, they're like an extension of, they kind of pick up where the band Ladderman left off. I also love Ladderman. I feel like they
Oh
kind of pick
yeah.
up where that band leaves off, and like you kind of get a really beautiful blend of like that way like positive sounding kind of pop punk that kind of came after from bands like The Story So Far and Handguns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it also blends that really beautifully with orgcore, whatever you want to call it, like Ladderman, Iron Chic kind of sounding, Lawrence
Yeah.
Arms kind of sounding bands. And to me, because they're kind of the midpoint of both of those, they're such a fucking awesome band. I wish Crucial Dudes would play a show. It's not for a lack of me trying. I've been punishing those guys for years, trying to get them to come back and do something with us. I'm probably going to keep trying.
Please do.
So
I think a reunion for Crucial Dudes would be amazing.
it would be incredible.
Um, are you? I don't know if you can say this or not. But are you working with Jumpstart Records for the new release?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, this coming EP for Bad Planning, we actually just kind of put together our release plan maybe a week ago ish, and obviously we looped in Jeremy on it, and it's going to involve a lot of cool content. We're going to have some music videos. We're going to have a couple singles, and our favorite part, we're announcing, hopefully, God willing, a really really cool tour
Sweet.
that should include a couple festivals if we play our cards right and we just put our heads down and keep working. So
Awesome.
the hardest part is up ahead still, but we're really hopeful and fucking really stoked about it. And the best part is these songs are our best ones yet. They're definitely our heaviest yet. It's going to be this collection of songs will be a lot more akin to bands like Gallows or American Nightmare, but there still is going to be some like positive poppy stuff that you might hear from like a Set Your Goals record or For Your Strong. So
Guys, start following them on Spotify and shit. Stay up to date. All right.
please and thank
That's
you.
for that's for the audience. Um, so you have one of my favorite openings of all time, and it's the song "Lifer," where you go, "I said I love you. You told me to go and kill myself," which I think is hilarious.
So it's so dramatic, man. I think I wrote that when I was like, I mean, it made its way on at Fortes, and I guess I was like 21 or 22 when that came out, and I wrote it when I was like 17. So it really is the most dramatic like teenager thing ever. But people like it, so
it is so funny to me. How
it is funny.
Where did that come from? I mean, I say that to my girlfriend all the time, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Fuck you!" Like, I just find it so funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. How did that come up? How did you write that?
I don't even know, man. I was probably 17 or 16 or something, and really bummed out about something that was just totally probably not that important. And I'm like, it's totally cringeworthy now. I don't know that we play that song very much because of it. It's kind of like it is funny. It makes me laugh now in hindsight. I have no idea how it came about. But it made its way onto the record. People like that song. I can't say that I love it just because it's, again, just kind of cringeworthy, but people like it, and it's I hope nobody ever gets it like tattooed on them or something. But yeah, I mean, it's just some dramatic teenager cringy kind of thing that I wrote down probably. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it. Oh, I lost you again.
Oh boy.
There we go. You're
Oh, you
back.
can hear me?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what. All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. Um, Sorry, technical difficulties.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll just edit that out. Um, you're in another band,
Yeah.
Goldwaite. Uh,
Yes.
my first question about that is, did you get that name from Title Fight?
Yes, I did. I did. Yeah,
Yes.
it's part from Title Fight. It's also just like there's a bunch of streets called Goldwaite in like New Jersey, and there's probably a couple in Chicago, and it's just it's a really it's one of my favorite Title Fight songs, and
It's
so
great. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
thank you,
that's
man.
awesome. Yeah. So you got so Goldwaite is a I mean you've said it's like a super group of
Yep.
other musicians. Who are the other musicians in Goldwaite?
So I'm really damn lucky. I kind of landed like a fucking really cool dream team. It's my really good friend Kevin Andrew, who's in an awesome band. Well, all these guys are like brothers to me. I love them all. So I don't need to preface it by saying my friend this or whatever. But Kevin from Guardrail, really awesome band from Chicago, kind of like pop punk, skate punk, kind of like the MXPX flavor. Um, my current my bandmate in Bad Planning as well, Lawrence, who I've known forever, Lawrence Backtet. He actually is in the band that we did that split with many years ago called Semester Abroad, and he's just a fucking really goddamn good musician. He plays keys in the band, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's got keyboard. And then Chris from the band Hot Alice, which is
Okay.
kind of a super group in and of itself. But again, just a really awesome punk band from Chicago, and obviously Chris McGrath from Much the Same, one of my favorite bands.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah,
Awesome.
he's also just like a really rad, cool dude. It took me like a second to get over the hump of like, oh, it's Chris from Much the Same.
Cat
Um,
text.
oh no, that's awesome. Hi, Kitty. But it took me a second to get over like that it's Chris from Much the Same, and I definitely told the other guys in the band that. But you know, when you talk about somebody who's like done it, like he's done it, and he's also got well, all the guys in the band have like a gift. Like they're all really good. I really do feel like it's like superheroes coming together. They all got like gifts, really good gifts that make this band
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, I was when you sent me like, oh, like I'm in this band, and I checked it out, I was like, all right, there has to be like a band camp or something, and I haven't found any music. When are you
No,
guys planning on releasing some
great
music?
question. We recorded our songs for the EP we're gonna release, and we're still waiting to get those back, like the final versions of them. But I can tell
Sure.
you that it's definitely going to be in 2025. It should be sooner than later. I'm not exactly sure. We're waiting on a couple things, really just getting the songs back, putting the artwork together, and figuring out how we want to push it out. But I will say that
Okay.
it's definitely gonna come out in 2025 sooner than later. Actually, our bass player Kevin made like a joke Instagram post where it was like the Spotify recap, and it was
Yeah.
like 0 streams, 0 listeners, whatever, because we ain't got nothing yet. But you know, I'm very hopeful. I love these songs. I know that all of us really love these songs, and we believe in it. You know.
Yeah,
There,
I mean,
I think it's a special group of dudes. The only show we did play was the show in Chicago that was sold out and packed as fuck with the band Calling All Captains and Goalkeeper. Shout
oh
out
no shit.
Goalkeeper. Shout out Calling All Captains.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome. So you know if you can kind of see a band's trajectory um, based off like their start, and that's our start, then I feel really good about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So is it going to be more akin to stuff like Bad Planning, or is it going to be because you have all these other guys, is it
Yeah.
more like much the same, or is it more like,
So it's definitely like substantially poppier than Bad Planning, I would say. Like
oh,
where so both bands kind of start at like a similar point. I would say the crossover is for people that are listening that know other bands would probably be the Bad Planning and Goldwaite probably both sound like Rise Against or Lifetime or Title Fight, but then they diverge in like kind of like this stylistic choice. Like Bad Planning is probably a little bit more heavier and angrier, I guess, whereas Goldwaite is probably a little more poppier and happier. but that's
Okay.
not for a lack of, aggressive playing and a lot of fast stuff. So yeah, I would just say Goldwaite is like a less angry version of Bad Planning, kind of a little bit happier.
Okay. All right. I can dig that. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Microphone is all fucked up. Uh, I dig that. I'm very much looking forward to whatever you guys put out.
Thank you,
Especially
man.
I had no idea all those people were in it. I had no idea. Like when you said supergroup, I was like, I have no idea who would be in this, but that I can't wait. And it's
Yeah,
pop, which is such a cool. It's so cool. I dig that. Yeah.
I feel so lucky, man. And like it, the thing is I've known all the guys in Goldwaite for a long time. I've played a lot of shows with them, especially bands like Semester Abroad, especially, and this is with Bad Planning, especially bands like Semester Abroad, and especially bands like Guardrail. I mean, we've played with those bands like literally. I think Bad Planning's probably played with those bands 20 times,
Wow.
probably. Like, I mean, a lot. And we played plenty with Hot Alice, which is our drummer Chris's band, and much the same. We have been privileged enough to play with a few times as well. And they're actually funny enough. There was a show that I threw at my dad's house here that was Bad Planning, much the same Hot Alice and Guardrail, which is what Goldway became. So, I feel really damn lucky, and they're all such cool guys, and I love them like brothers, just like the Bad Planning dudes. So.
Yeah. How I'm curious how that kind of came about. Like getting all these guys to agree to like just make music. And
It's not easy.
I can imagine like everyone has different schedules.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly where you guys are located, in relation to each other, but like to then be like, oh, we're gonna make a band, and then oh, we're also gonna make an album after that. Like
Yeah.
that's just very impressive. How did that all come together?
So I had written a few songs that didn't really feel like Bad Planning songs, and I'd actually written them for an acoustic like guitar. I wanted to make a few acoustic songs and just release them as like a solo thing. And then I hit up my very good friend Gage Boss, who's in an awesome band called Mishandled that I love very much. And he's just a very like good musical mind and kind of a fun brain to pick because he's just very talented. He's got a good ear for things. And I as good as I can recall, I think I showed him the songs, and we both kind of like came to the conclusion that these would be better in like a full band setting. But then I still had the complication of like these don't feel like Bad Planning songs. They don't necessarily sound like they could be. So I'm like, oh boy, does this mean it's like time for band number two kind of thing? And it just kind of naturally happened after that. I started thinking about who I'd want to play with, and pretty much the first few guys that I kind of came up with all said yes. I mean, there might have been a couple dudes that I had asked if they'd be interested when I first kind of formulated the idea for Goldwaite, who weren't really interested just for one reason or another. But pretty much the first guys that I asked all said yes, and I landed a really awesome lineup. Like these guys can play; they're all really damn good. And same with even Bad Planning, like putting that band together. It's had rotating casts over the years, and the version we have now is really damn good. Like our drummer Kevin is also in that band Mishandled, and he's one of my favorite drummers, and he's also one of my favorite people. And Jack, I've just known forever, and we started the band a million years ago, and I get to be in both bands with Lawrence, so it's really cool. And but yeah, putting Goldway together was just I had written some songs. They didn't feel like Bad Planning songs. They weren't good for an acoustic guitar, so I had to make a band. And pretty much the first few guys I asked all said yes, and getting together is tough because we're dads. Well, I mean, three of us are dads, 3 out of 5, and we're all in other bands, and we don't live super close together. Like Lawrence and Kevin kind of live in the city, and then myself and both the Chris's are both in the suburbs. But we make it work, and it's just kind of picking and choosing our time wisely.
Sure, I get that. That's awesome, man. I cannot wait to hear that project.
Thank you.
And I'll be sure to link all the Instagram and all that stuff below the video or whatever you guys are listening on. Whatever. Check out Goldwaite. All right. So the 3 albums you picked were Jersey's Best Dancers by Lifetime,
Yep.
Dude Ranch by Blink-182, and Mutiny by Set Your Goals. 3 amazing
Yep.
albums. Fuck, marry, kill. Which ones are you choosing?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well I have to marry Lifetime. That's a lifetime commitment. It's a lifetime bound. That's my favorite band ever, and that's my favorite record ever. So, Virginia's Best Dancers, I marry. I probably. Oh man, this is tough. I have to kill. I honestly, I have to kill. This sucks, but I have to kill Mutiny just because,
Wow.
I have
get
to kill
it.
Mutiny because Dude Ranch is the gateway drug for so much good shit. Like for me,
Oh, yeah.
like for me and so many people, like Blink, bands like Blink or Green Day or My Chemical Romance or Paramore, like whatever. Like I don't care how much your fucking Too Punk for You card you want to use. Your introduction and everyone's introduction to punk and hardcore and emo and all that shit was probably Blink or Green Day or Paramore or My Chem or something like that, right?
100%.
And Blink's still one of my favorite bands, and Dude Ranch is, in my opinion, their best record. It's definitely my favorite record of theirs, and it's just a great gateway drug for other shit. So I guess I got to keep that. But that means I got to kill Mutiny. Sorry, Set Your Goals. I love you.
You heard it here first, folks. Dude Ranch is the marijuana of pop punk.
It is.
So,
yeah, and seriously, anyone who wants to use the fucking Too Punk for You card, there is a Green Day to Crass pipeline. I don't care what anybody says. Like there's a Green Day to Converge pipeline. There's a Blink-182 to fucking every punk band under the sun pipeline. Like that's where everyone finds it. And you have whether it's Blink or Paramore, Good Charlotte or fucking Green Day, whatever. Like that's how you and everyone found it. 100%.
100%. Yeah, I mean, Christ, Mark Hoppus was in the Descendants documentary.
Yes.
Paramore uses a line from Liberation Frequency by Refused. Like there's a lot of these things. Yeah. I don't fuck with those people who are too cool, for school. Like I don't do that.
Paramore fucking rocks.
They're one of the best. Yeah, they're great.
Awesome.
I like what you said about these albums. Because it was very, what you like about those albums the most is the way they make you feel. They make you feel so free, and the memories tied to them, as well as finding out about all the bands that inspired them.
Yep.
And I get that. At what point? I mean, what came first? I guess in this lineup of that's the first thing you listened to, which led to, I'm gonna assume Blink-182.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Mm-hmm. Kind of like I was saying, my gateway into the world of punk and hardcore and kind of all the different flavors of it was Blink and Green Day. So when I think about band number one, it's one of those. And Dude Ranch specifically because that was where I could finally hear a slight, I don't know that it's heavier. Maybe I can say it's heavier. It's definitely got more fast stuff and it's a little bit less poppy than say Enema of the State or Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. And because of that was kind of how I got more into skate punk stuff like Lagwagon, shirt I'm wearing, or NoFX and Propaganda, Strung Out, Adolescence, stuff like that. So, and then that turned into Black Flag and Minor Threat and Bad Brains and everything else going in that direction. So, because that's kind of album number one for me in terms of getting into this genre, that's kind of why it has to sit there. And that, that is definitely something that came before Lifetime or Set Your Goals or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So I guess when looking at the music you've written, and then I guess kind of comparing it to these albums that inspired you,
do you think there's things you've directly taken from these albums? I don't know whether it's lyrical structure or song structure, stuff like that. Or has it just been kind of a soundtrack for you that I guess you're trying to imitate? I guess that's kind of the same thing, but
yeah, I totally know what you mean. And the answer is yes, 100%. There's definitely a bunch of Bad Planning songs that don't have choruses, kind of similar to how I feel a lot of Lifetime songs don't have choruses. There was kind of Lifetime's really cool in that they don't they're so catchy and cool and fast and fun and also heavy sometimes, and they don't necessarily need to have a chorus or some crazy hook to like capture a really awesome song. And I feel like a lot of Bad Planning songs, especially the new ones, are kind of that way, where there might be a couple choruses, but there isn't like a bunch, or there is no chorus at all. However, on the flip side of that, bands like Blank and Set Your Goals really are bands that taught me how to like write a cool melody. Like they're so melodic, and they're a lot of that Blank stuff for a lot of people. It's the reason they're so big is that a lot of the shit they write is like an earworm. It sits in your head forever, like little poppy catchy riffs or
Oh
catchy
yeah.
progressions and vocal melodies. And I've made it a point actually on this next release to try and even make it more both with Goldwaite and Bad Planning, to make things that are a little more can like stick in your head a little bit longer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, you definitely got kind of, I mean, those three albums, like,
Because you're right, like Lifetime, they're very catchy in like a heavy way. Blink is
Yes.
just traditional pop punk, but
Yep.
they have that. I mean, DeLong's guitar playing, those like those leads and those riffs and stuff are just like, oh shit. And then
Yeah.
Set Your Goals. I mean, I remember listening when I first listened to them, being like, oh, these guys are way different. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. Way different.
yeah. And all those kind of like, they all kind of tie together. And you
Yeah.
guys definitely have, I see that Lifetime influence
Well,
in a
thank
lot
you.
of your songs. Yeah. So no, three fantastic albums. What's your favorite from each? Favorite song from
Oh
each?
my goodness. Oh my God. Oh, it's so tough. Okay. Well, okay. I can definitely say two of them. Um, my favorite from Gigi's Best Dancers is, I believe it's the second track, Young, Loud, and Scotty. And I don't think it's got no chorus. It is just a sandwich of beautifully written lyrics and chord progressions. And it's fast, and I love it. It makes me feel
Oh
so
yeah.
good. It's one of my favorite songs to cover when I play like little acoustic sets and stuff. It's one of my favorite songs ever. With Dude Ranch, there's I don't know, I believe it's called I'm Sorry. It's one of the last tracks on the record. But
Okay.
me and Jack from Bad Planning, when we were like 14, like we just used to he had to drive me everywhere. He was a little bit older than me. So we would just fucking crank that fucking song, and like it brings me back to like being a young teenager on like a summer day driving to like our drummer's house to go practice, and we just used to fucking crank that thing as loud as we could. So probably the song I'm Sorry off Dude Ranch. And for Set Your Goals, it's one of the last tracks, but it's called Echoes. It's a great song. That's my favorite song on the record. That record is full of earworms and really catchy stuff and heavy parts and breakdowns and
Oh yeah.
I think you and I probably had the way you described how you heard Set Your Goals for the first time. We probably had a similar experience, because I remember being like, this sounds like nothing I've heard before. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know you could be heavy but also pop punk but also a hardcore band, and
Oh yeah.
all those like the it's so cool that a band that was pretty much looped into the pop punk scene got their name from a Civ song. That's so cool. Like I
Oh
didn't know
yeah.
that. Like, I didn't know you could be hardcore and pop punk and heavy and catchy, and they kind of showed that it could all be molded into one. And I can kind of say a similar thing for a band like Lifetime, because they're also punk and hardcore and pop punk and catchy and heavy and breakdowns and all that kind of shit. But Set Your Goals is one of the first times I was like, what the fuck am I listening to? You know what I mean? And you can
Oh
totally
yeah.
hear why they got looped in with kind of the like modern pop punk bands of that era, which are also awesome. Bands like The Story So Far and Handguns and Man Overboard and Transit, stuff like that. But you can also hear why they ended up touring with a bunch of hardcore bands like the Warriors and stuff, because they were just so
Yeah.
heavy and unique and cool.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Um, Alex, is there anything you would like to plug?
I would like to plug, just keep listening to the stuff we put out. I promise the EP's coming for Bad Planning and for Goldwaite. We're getting it all together. We're getting together a tour. We're getting together some merch. We're getting ready. big launches. I'm really excited for 2025. Hoping to do some more touring. Hopefully, see another country again or two. So, yeah, really, that's all I want to plug right now. Go follow Bad Planning. Go follow Goldwaite. Please and thank you.
Guys, you heard him. Stay up to date with what Bad Planning's doing. Goldwaite. Keep waiting for that record that's coming out. And Alex, thank you so much for joining me today. It was awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course.
Get into it, press play, don't quit. Feel the vibe, talk and listen live. Get into it, hit subscribe, don't sit. Join the crew, every week something new. Nostalgia.
Guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. It was really cool getting to talk to Alex. Just once again, the band. If you have a chance, go check out Bad Planning. They're fantastic. I cannot wait for their new album. And go listen to their old album, their singles. They're very good. They're very good. So yeah, guys, I'll see you next time.